More than 2 million people will visit the Minnesota State Fair this year. So, how did it become such a huge deal? Let's connect the dots. The first Minnesota State Fair was held way back in 1859, near what would become downtown Minneapolis. During the early years, the location of the fair changed each year, but in 1885, it found its permanent home. The Ramsey County Board of Commissioners donated 210 acres of land, halfway between Minneapolis and St. Paul, which would become the state fairgrounds we know today. The State Fair has always been focused on agriculture, but over the years, dozens of new activities would pop up. From entertainment to technology, the State Fair has been held every year since 1859, with only 5 exceptions. In 1861 and 1862, it was canceled because of the Civil War and Dakota Indian conflict. In 1893, there were scheduling conflicts with the Columbian Exposition in Chicago. 1945, the State Fair was canceled because of wartime fuel shortages. In 1946, a polio epidemic closed the gates. I guess 155 out of 160 years isn't so bad.